Whether you're into strategy games, RPGs, shooters, or just casual, 2023 has been so far as generous as possible, bringing some of the best games of all time to mobiles. If you've been keeping up with the announcements, here's October's top 10 best games ranked based off reviews and ratings on both platforms. Number 1, we have Monster Hunter Now, which just hit over 2 million downloads today, and that's so far into the year the biggest reception on any mobile game, even though it's even on its soft launch, so to speak. Now, Monster Hunter Now is an action RPG open world made by Capcom Official. The difference between this mobile game and previous iterations is that now this game uses like a Pokemon Go pace where you fight, win rewards, level up, improve, and then do the same thing. If you have ever been a fan of the Monster Hunter games, this one does feel rather unpleasant in the beginning, but really grows on you as you get familiar with the mechanics. Number 2. It's honestly, I would have to say, my favorite game of all time on the Play Store, although I've already purchased this one on PCs when it came out a couple years ago. If you haven't seen what we have over here, Lost in Play is a puzzle point and click adventure and just everything you ever dreamed of a retro, perfect, cartoony puzzle game. It has the greatest quality and detail than the rest of the list. The game has a 5 out of 5 rating on the Play Store and has reached just over 1 million downloads and is playable offline. I don't even know why. With that said, if you're familiar with the old Gurren Lagann anime series, I've actually mentioned this one a few days ago from almost 20 years ago, you probably heard at some point something called Tengen Toppa, which if you do, they made a god-tier faithful adaptation of the series, delivering one of the most amazing strategy RPGs that has been released for years on mobiles. This thing has been around for months though, but it just made it over in English to the Western regions, offers a great story on top of some of the cutest 3D designs, and the whole thing's about 2 GB in total. At number 4, I've mentioned this one almost 2 weeks ago. We have Snag, the fighting game, been in its pre-registration state, now finally in its soft launch, and rated a 4.7 and over 100,000 downloads already. This, I kid you not guys, has been one of the most well-received Filipinian games ever. At the same time, fighting games has a single and multiplayer with controller support and both online and offline play. It's actually coming from the famous developers of Basketball Sam, offers a quite unique character pool and mythology, and best of all is free, although right now you gotta use a VPN to connect through Europe or the Eastern regions. From a very underrated developer, at number 5, we have, with over 10,000 downloads since just days ago, the folks' hard work finally paid off over here, a game called Humans Gone. I think I mentioned this game about a week ago, and ever since it's been getting way more attention, and it's probably the best first-person shooter I've come across this whole year, if not, well, the second best. It's got a campaign, you can craft, make friends, even play with a controller, and also offline. It's definitely a 10 out of 10. Play it. Rated as the number 1, it's awarded free simulation game on the Play Store. At number 6, we have SpongeBob Adventures in a Jam. This game's sold over 1 million times and rated a 5 out of 5. The game is a management sim that basically has you trying to save a version of Bikini Bottom that's covered in jellyfish jam. You're basically there to help Patrick, Sandy, and everybody else to get back on their feet. This game has farming, crafting, and a lot of managing. It's about 400 megabytes in total, and sitting on both the Google and the App Store for free. It's getting constant updates and developer support every day. Sitting on the Google and the App Store with a 5 out of 5 since just days ago. Number 7, we have another puzzle escape room adventure from the Rusty Lakes, going by the name Underground Blossom. This is also the same developers of all Cube games that have been released on mobiles. Now, Underground Blossom is not a free game anymore. It's a $3 piece of a 5 out of 5 rated point-and-click adventure that takes place across 7 different stations where you live through the memories of a girl and have to put everything back in its place. It's an offline game and about 200 megabytes in total. With a 4.9 out of 5 and over 100,000 downloads at number 8, we have a survival strategy mobile exclusive over here going by the name Survival Tactics. I've actually mentioned this game a few times already. It's a single-player top-down zombie shooter RPG and has been getting a lot of positive. I mean, previously it was a lot of negative because it could have been a little bit more different, but developers have been coming up with patches and updates and making this a console quality port. If you ask me, it's a really good game except for the graphics maybe. It has a world of content to keep you busy and even has a story. It's an online game though and about 700 megabytes in total. Number 9, coming from one of the most successful mobile game developers here, these folks turned gold every single genre they touched since the beginning. We've got over here maybe the most underrated game of the month, an action first-person shooter and zombie survival RPG going by the name Zombie State. This game has legit one of the smoothest and top quality graphics in this genre, and the whole thing is somehow just 300 megabytes in total. It's a free game, playable online, and what you just saw was actually in-game footage.
For monsters.
Usagai Shima is on both platforms with a perfect 5 out of 5 rating, and it's the first work of his developers too. I mean, this year's been really crazy with mobile games, so I guess these small developers are making big games too. So what we have over here is basically an idle collecting game, technically bunny collecting, in which you get a little island and bunch of NPCs to go through a rather Harvest Moon style breeding sim as rabbits. Just take a look. Game's about 400 megabytes in total, free all the way. With that out of the way, here's some honorable mentions that were awarded and all rated over 4.6 out of 5 this past month. Let's go.
The Valkyrie Marina grew up, concurrently harboring millennial-old secrets about the merfolk.
Arcanists thou hast met. How are they? We have been deserted by the principles of this world. The absurdities will transform into a storm that shall cleanse the world.